Sarah. Happy New Year. What did the president mean when he said the DeepState Justice Department? And does this administration believe that the deep state is a real thing, that there is this shadow government out there actively plotting to sabotage him?
Look, the president finds some of those actions very disturbing, and he thinks that we need to make sure if there is an issue that it's looked at. But if there was anything beyond that, I would refer you to the Department of Justice that would look into it.
Does he believe the entire Justice Department and its more than 100,000 employees are part of this deep state?
Obviously, he doesn't believe the entire Justice Department is part of that. You know, one of the things that the president has done is appoint Christopher Wray at the FBI because he wants to change the culture of that agency, and he thinks he's the right person to do that. Steve?
What does the president see as the end game in Iran? Would he like to see regime change?
I think the ultimate end game would be that the citizens and the people of Iran are actually given basic human rights, and he'd certainly like to see them stop being a state sponsor of terror. I think that's something the whole world would like to see.
Follow up, is there a risk of, by encouraging these demonstrators, that there could be a backlash against them from the Iranian government?
No, and I think one of the big things, and I think even Hillary Clinton outlined this when she said that the Obama administration was too restrained of the 2009 protests, and said that won't happen again. And for once, she's right, and we agree with her, because President Trump's not going to sit by silently like President Obama did, and he certainly supports the Iranian people and wants to make that clear. Matthew?
Thanks, Sarah. Another question on one of this morning's tweets. Is the president requesting that the Department of Justice investigate Huma Abedin? And how did he reach his conclusion that she should be in jail, given that she hasn't been indicted or convicted of any crime?
Look, obviously, the facts of that case are very disturbing, and I think the president wants to make clear that he doesn't feel that anyone should be above the law. In terms of any investigation, that would be something the Department of Justice would need to decide, and I would refer you to them on whether or not they move forward. Peter?
Sarah, can I ask you about another presidential tweet today? The president today appeared to take credit for 0 commercial airline deaths in 2017. In fact, there hasn't been a U.S. commercial airline fatal crash in the country since 2009. So does President Obama deserve credit for that long stretch that dates back to 2009?
Look, the president has raised the bar for our nation's aviation safety and security. He certainly is very grateful. Last year, the president announced his initiative to modernize air traffic control, and under his leadership, the Department of Homeland Security released enhanced security measures to ensure safer commercial air travel. Look, the president's very happy that there were no commercial airline deaths in 2017, and we hope that that trend continues well into 2018 and beyond. Brian?
Just to follow up, then Michael Huerta is the FAA administrator. Obviously, he's had a successful run. He's an Obama holdover. His term expires this week. Will he extend Michael Huerta?
I don't have any personnel announcements on that front.
Follow if I can, because you started talking football, so I'll ask you about football. The two teams that are going to be in the national championship game come from the state of Georgia and the state of Alabama, as you know well. Obviously, Alabama just elected a Democratic senator. You said they're right in the heart of Trump country. Does the president see the country as Trump country and the rest of the country?
Look, I was certainly making a congratulations to two great football teams in the greatest conference in the country, which I'm sure that most of you will all agree, even those that don't live in one of those lucky states.
I'm not going to ask you specifically about, I'm not going to ask you if you worked during the holiday, because I think I know what you'll say there, but what I do want to ask you is...
There was a holiday?
Yeah, right. What I wanted to ask you is, will he give a comprehensive breakdown of what he accomplished during the holiday season? And specifically, he met with Steve Mnuchin, Wilbur Ross, Robert Lighthizer, his trade rep, his commerce secretary, and his treasury secretary. Did you accomplish anything during that break, and could you let the American public know what it was that you accomplished?
Obviously, the president's been extremely focused on trade. He talked a lot about it during the campaign, has talked a lot about it since he was sworn in. That's going to continue to be a big priority for the president in making sure that American workers and American companies are at the best end and have better trade deals. He doesn't feel like we have very many of those right now, and wants to make sure that we make every effort to improve all of the trade deals that we have so that we're benefiting our workers and our companies and our country. And that was certainly a big part of that conversation and will continue to be so. And we'll keep you posted if we have specifics to roll out on that front.
Does he plan to hold, he's had one solo press conference in a year. Is there any chance we get him out here to answer some questions from us anytime soon?
We'll certainly make sure that you guys are aware if he's going to make an appearance. Look, the president communicates. He's one of the most accessible presidents we've ever had. He gives feedback and answers questions in a variety of different ways. Sometimes it's through a press conference. Sometimes it's chatting with you guys on the way to and from Marine One. It's often through Twitter where he gets to speak directly to the American people and give exact information on what his thoughts and feelings are. The purpose, if I understand correctly, is for you to get information about where the president is, and we do that in a variety of different ways. Hunter?
Thank you, Sarah, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
So in less than a year in office now, President Trump has visited golf courses 91 times. There's confirmation that he's played the game of golf at least 75 times. Sean, back in March, told me that this was different than President Obama's use of golf, which was Obama played far less than President Trump, but Sean said Trump was using the game much differently. Can you tell me the biggest single thing the president has accomplished for the American people during his time on the golf course?
I think it would certainly be developing deeper and better relationships with members of Congress in which those relationships have helped push forward the president's agenda, specifically when it comes to helping get the tax reform and tax cuts passed. A lot of that, I think, and the success of that came from the strong relationships that the president has, and he's played golf with a number of senators and used that time certainly to accomplish that.
If so much has been accomplished during this time, there seems to be a bit of a transparency issue with his time on the golf course. We don't always get confirmation of what he's doing there, despite a lot of requests. There was this incident with the box truck. Why does it seem as though the White House is a little has some kind of issue about his time on the course?
I think it's the press that has an issue with this time on the course. The president's extremely proud of the accomplishments we had during 2017. I don't think anyone can argue is probably one of the most successful first years in office, passed major legislation, reworked the court system, and got a Supreme Court justice nominated and approved and on the bench in the first year, a booming economy, massive gains against the war on ISIS. I think we've had an extremely successful 2017, and some of that's due to the relationship building that he was able to do there. We'll take one last question. Eamon?
Or confirmation?
I'm sorry?
Is there a reason for no readout or confirmation when he's having these meetings on the course?
We provide information when it's pertinent to the day, and we'll continue to do that. Eamon, go ahead.
Thank you, Sarah. Earlier, the president tweeted about tax reform, saying companies are giving big bonuses to their workers because of the tax cut bill. Really great. Will the employees of the president's own companies be getting bonuses as a result of the tax cut bill this year?
That's a question you have to ask the Trump Organization. The president isn't involved in that. That's something I would refer you to them. Jordan?
Thanks, Sarah. Was the president disappointed that Senator Hatch decided not to seek re-election, and is he committed to campaign for whoever the Republican nominee would be in 2018?
Obviously, I don't think we've made a determination in terms of campaigning, but the president certainly has the greatest and deepest amount of respect for Senator Hatch and his over 4 decades of experience in the Senate. He's particularly thankful for the senator's leadership and massive effort that he played and the role that he played in getting the tax cut and reform package passed. And the president certainly praises his service and is very sad to see Senator Hatch leave and knows that he will certainly be missed. Stephen?
I want to go back to North Korea for just a second. The president, in one of his tweets this morning, said that sanctions and other pressures are having a big impact on North Korea. But we learned this afternoon that Kim Jong-un is apparently making preparations for another missile launch, either this week or next. There was the rhetoric over the weekend about a nuclear button on his desk. Can you point out how these pressures are having a big impact, as the president says? And I know a lot of people want to know, if we stay on the current course of maximum pressure, are we moving further from war or closer to the brink?
Again, the focus here is to continue, like you said, to apply maximum pressure on North Korea, and we want all of the other countries. This is not just a United States threat, this is a global threat, which is why we're calling on everybody to step up and do more, and we're going to continue working with a lot of different leaders in other countries to help do that, and we're going to keep all of our options on the table. As we have said time and time again, our policy on that front hasn't changed. Mike?
Just to follow up on that point, if the policy is denuclearization and Kim won't talk to the U.S. about that, how can it be good news, as the president suggested in his tweet, that North Korea wants to talk to South Korea about the Olympics?
How can it, I'm sorry, what was the last one?
It may be good news that North Korea wants to talk to South Korea about the Olympics.
Look.
In what scenario is that good news for the White House?
Look, our alliance and friendship with South Korea remains stronger than it ever has been, and we're in close contact with those people about a unified response. We're going to continue to work with South Korea to put maximum pressure on North Korea and work towards the ultimate shared goal that we both have. Thanks so much, guys.